Chapter 4. Wow. In chapter 12 we have
the verb
and its complementation. The verb and its complementation. Okay, so the verb and its complementation. Yesterday, I started telling you something about the verb. Yesterday, I had a review with you about something that you studied previously last year, which is not really part of what I want to tell you. What I want to tell you is something that is considered part of the verb. And it's, you know, the verb, I'm saying now, the verb is what? Is the most important element. Okay? Okay. So this is, first of all, we have grammar. You know grammar?
Yes.
Well, what is the grammar?
Rules.
Rules. But what is the grammar in the study of language? What is the grammar in the study of language?
Yes.
Yes,
The
Anna?
backbone of language.
Backbone of language
Yes.
is the backbone of language. Once you are good in grammar, you're good in language.
Yes.
Okay? When you're good in grammar, you're good in language. Okay? So grammar is the backbone of language. Have you ever seen a person with no backbone, moving around?
No.
The bullshit. Okay? So the backbone of language is the grammar. So we have to be good in grammar to be good in language. Okay? To be good in grammar, we're good in language. Wow. And when we come to the verb,
The backbone of the sentence.
the backbone of the sentence. Okay, the backbone. When I say I have a sentence, I mean there is what? There is a verb. There is a verb. But if there is no verb, it's not a sentence. It's not a sentence, but it is something called a phrase. It's a phrase or something like that, but not a sentence. Okay, so the verb and its complementation. Well, you know, we're not concerned with the verb as a stative or dynamic or intensive. We are not concerned with the verb. Verb being what? Being either transitive or intransitive. Okay? It's either transitive or intransitive. A verb is either transitive or intransitive. Okay. Well, depending on what? Desire? Depending on the existence of the object? Depending on what?
Depends on the auxiliary verbs.
On the auxiliary verb. Depends on what?
Complement of the sentence.
Pardon?
Complement of the sentence.
Complement of the sentence. Depending on what? Type of the verb. Okay, fine. Well, as far as transitivity and intransitivity is concerned, as far as this subject, transitive or intransitive? As far as this subject is concerned, what do we say? We often say that there is a group of verbs. This group is always transitive.
Yes.
There is a group of verbs. This group is always intransitive. Okay? So we have to confess, we have to admit, we have to acknowledge the fact that we have some verbs. These verbs are always transitive. We have some verbs. These verbs are always intransitive. Okay?
Verb means transitive. All the time that means object. Linking verb.
Linking verb and the three are always what?
Need an object. Linking verb should follow by an object.
Complement.
Linking
A
verb.
complement.
Complement, not an object. Okay? So I'm not talking about these. I'm talking about verbs in general. Verbs in general which are considered transitive or intransitive. Leave these aside. Leave this aside. We're talking about transitive and intransitive. Okay? The verb that is followed by an object is a transitive. The verb that does not need an object is intransitive. Okay? Fine. Well, so the verb that is followed by an object is a transitive.
Transitive.
The verb that is not followed by an object is intransitive. This depends on what? This depends on what? Huh?
Our knowledge.
It depends on your choice.
Yes, your choice.
It depends on your choice. Well, if I ask this lady, what are you doing? What are you doing? What did she say?
I'm writing.
I'm writing. Good. Okay?
Yes.
I'm writing. Well, now, I'm asking you all, check the verb. Check the verb. What type is the verb? Intransitive. Why?
Yes, so because it's followed by an object.
It is not followed by an object. It is not followed by what? It's followed by what? Full stop. A point, a period, a full stop. It's followed by a point.
Yes.
There is no what? No object.
No object.
What is the object? The object is either a noun or a pronoun that comes after the verb. Do we have a noun or a pronoun that comes after the verb? In this case, what is this verb? Is intransitive. The verb is intransitive. But if I ask her, what are you writing?
I'm writing.
I'm
writing.
Here the verb is transitive.
I'm writing
Some notes.
some notes.
Here's the verb change, depended on our choice.
Look at this.
The verb is transitive.
Followed by what? Followed by an object.
Yes,
It's intransitive.
So it is what?
Transitive.
It is now transitive.
Yes.
Well,
By an object.
now I'm asking you,
Yes.
check the verb. Check the verb. Isn't it the same verb?
No. Yes.
Isn't it the same verb?
Yes.
It is the same verb, but different.
Structure. In the
Different
second step,
structure.
we more information.
Okay, so here I am using the verb intransitively. Here I am using the verb transitively. So it depends on what? It depends on my choice. Clear now?
Yes.
So again, I'm coming back to my first statement. There is a group of verbs. This group is always transitive. There is another group of verbs. This group is always intransitive. Okay. But between the two groups, what do we say? Vast majority. Vast majority. Vast majority of verbs. Okay, vast majority of verbs that are either this or this. Depending on what? Depending on my choice. If I use the verb transitively or intransitively, it is my choice. If it is followed, if I make the verb followed by
Yes.
an object, it is transitive. But if I make the verb followed by nothing, it is intransitive. Okay? Well. Yes? Do you have a question? No question? Okay. Fine. So, it depends on what? It depends on my choice. Now, coming to complementation. This is what I'm saying. Now, we are going into another way. Nowadays, you know, we are learning language.
Yes.
We're learning language. Aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are. Okay, we are learning language. The best way to learn language is what?
Communication.
No, the best way to learn language is to imitate the people who speak the language as their native speakers. Okay? So we have to listen to native speakers. We have to imitate them. We try to get knowledge. We get knowledge from the books. We get knowledge from the books. But we have to try hard to imitate them. To imitate those people who speak the language as their native language. Okay? Why? Because we're trying hard. We're trying hard
Our standard.
to raise our standard to the point. It is not the same standard as they are, because this is their language, but you know, near that point.
Yes.
It is not that point, but it is somehow near that point. Well, if you listen to native speakers these days, you will rarely find those people use single word verbs or phrasal verbs. Look, now this is a new term, okay? We have what we call phrasal verb or prepositional verb or single word verb. Okay? Clear now?
Yes.
This is the subject that I am discussing now is what? Is we have either phrasal verbs or prepositional verbs or single word verb.
Yes.
What do you mean by this?
Yes,
This,
phrasal verb, the definition of it, it is a verb that come together with the preposition. Yes.
it is not a preposition. This is a prepositional verb. A phrasal verb is what?
A verb
Is a verb.
that come together with the
A verb that is
come to
followed by what?
Preposition.
Let me say, is followed by what? By good. It is followed by a particle.
Yes.
Okay. What is this particle? This particle could be what? Could be an adverb or could be what? Clear now?
Yes.
When I say phrasal verb, prepositional verb is a verb that is followed by a particle. What is this particle? This particle is either an adverb
Preposition.
or preposition.
Yes.
Okay? So now we are investigating, we are looking at something. We're looking at something that is called phrasal verb. And phrasal verb is what? Is the verb that is used by people, by native speakers, you know, widely these days. They use this widely these days in their conversation. Look, I will give you an example. I'll give you the verb give.
Give up.
No, look at give. Okay, a verb, a one-word verb. Okay,
Single verb.
single word verb.
Yes.
Single word verb. Well, can you give me an example of in a sentence that you use give as a single word verb?
In a
Yes.
imperative sentence.
Yes.
I don't know. It depends on you. Yes, Russell.
Give me the pen.
Give me the pen. Good. Give me the pen. Okay. Now give me the pen. What is this? It's a verb followed by what? Followed by object. Followed by object. So we've got how many? Object number one. Object number two. Direct object and indirect object. This is what? This is what? Clear?
Yes.
Okay? So this is single word verb.
Yes.
Give. You know give. Give is the opposite of what? Opposite of?
Take.
Good. Opposite of take. But now, I am using give as what?
As a phrasal verb. Yes. Give up.
Give
Yes.
up.
Yes. Yes.
Phrasal verb.
By
Okay?
preposition.
It is followed by what?
Preposition.
No? Is it preposition?
Particle.
It's a particle. We call it a particle, okay? If
But the
we
particle
are
is
not,
not verb or
yeah,
preposition.
if you're suspicious, if you're skeptic, if you feel skeptic about this, you're not quite sure whether this is a preposition or an adverb, we say it's a particle, okay? To be on the safe side, we say that this is what? This is a particle. But you have to check. What is up? Up is what? It's an adverb. Up and down.
Yes.
Up and down, okay? So give up. But give up, well, does the verb retain its original meaning?
No.
Different.
It is now changed. So if I'm asking you now, what is the purpose? What is the purpose behind using phrasal verbs? What do we say?
Give another minute?
Very good, fantastic. So the purpose
Of using.
behind
Using.
using phrasal verb is to
Get yes. Another meaning.
is to derive a new meaning.
Yeah.
Okay? So the purpose behind using
Is to
this verb, phrasal verb, is to derive no meaning.
no meaning. Yeah.
Okay? Now we are what? We are deriving no meanings. What? We are using phrasal verbs,
Yes.
not single word verb.
No phrase.
To what is one?
Okay? So give up. What do you say?
Yes,
Give up.
give up the smoking.
Good.
Give up drinking.
Give up.
Smoking.
Give up smoking. It's a good piece of advice, okay? It's a good tip. It's a good tip you give. It's a good tip you give for a person who smokes a lot, okay? Give up smoking. Give up. Well, if you say give up smoking, you mean give me a cigarette?
No, leave it. Leave it.
Okay? So give up smoking means quit. Good. Means quit smoking.
Yes.
Leave smoking.
Smoking.
Okay, so give here is the opposite of take,
Yes.
while give up is another meaning.
Another meaning.